Every time I make a YouTube video talking about Terraria's boss fights, there are about 500,000 comments talking about Queen Slime, and of those comments, 0 of them are positive. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Queen Slime could be the most hated boss fight in all of Terraria at this point. Maybe Golem's up there, maybe Deerclops, but Queen Slime gets so much hate, and quite frankly, it's for very valid reason. I thought it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about Queen Slime and why exactly everybody hates her, including me. Just to get started, I think the biggest problem with Queen Slime ultimately boils down to the gameplay. There's nothing original or creative or fun about it, it's just projectile spam. And it's not predictable, avoidable, fun projectiles either. Queen Slime is one of those boss fights that just sends out a million different things on the screen to the point where you can't even tell where you are, you can't tell what you're meant to avoid, and you're just gonna get hit and possibly die for, what, not noticing every little thing? Bosses with a lot of projectiles like this can work, but they need to be predictable and they need to be sensible. In no case should a boss have this many projectiles at this early of a stage in the game, but even if it did, it would probably be fine if the damage wasn't that much. The problem is that in Expert and especially Master Mode, Queen Slime's projectiles do so much damage. It's insane. It's fair to say that most boss fights in Terraria are fair. If you beat them, you're gonna feel accomplished for beating them, but if you lose to them, you're also gonna feel like, dang, that was my fault. And the problem with Queen Slime is that because it's all projectile spam and there's basically no skill involved, you don't actually feel like you deserved it when you die. The only way to truly counter Queen Slime is to just not engage in the fight at all. Most people I see on Master Mode just use mounts and run from the left to the right to the left to the right constantly, and that's not really fun. You're just forced into that because it's the only way you can reasonably defeat Queen Slime when she's sending out so many ridiculous projectiles. If you actually try to engage with the fight, you'll get punished with a million projectiles that you can't possibly avoid, but if you don't engage with the fight, you're not gonna have a lot of fun. So either way, this boss fight just isn't very good. On top of this though, another big problem with Queen Slime is that her drops aren't good at all. The Sparkle Slime Balloon is purely for fun, it doesn't really do anything, and on its own that would be okay, but the problem is that most of Queen Slime's items are kinda like this. The Crystal Assassin armor set is almost never worth it for the average player. It is a jack of all trades, master of none kind of armor set. It helps a little bit with melee, a little bit with magic, and a little bit with ranger, and then you end up with an armor set that nobody really needs to use. Especially because in this early hard mode stage of the game, you're getting close to hollowed armor, which is one of the best armor sets in the whole game, and obviously you should just go for that instead. The Blade Staff is 100% the best drop from Queen Slime, and it is one of the better summoner weapons at this stage of the game, but even then, it's not really a necessity. The Gelatinous Pillion isn't a terrible mount, but it's not one of the best mounts in the game, and by this point you already unlock wings, so the increased jump height doesn't really do anything. The Hook of Dissonance is kinda cool, but it's also really gimmicky and weird. I've really never found a reason to use this item. And that's about it for unique Queen Slime drops. Notice how only 1 or 2 of those things is arguably useful? It's just not good all around. The gameplay of this boss fight is poorly designed, the items aren't worth it, and there's nothing to really make up for this as well. If this boss fight had an amazing soundtrack or a really cool design or something else that really made it special, then it could probably be overlooked just how poorly designed it is in terms of gameplay, but the music is not very good. It's a good song, but it's worse than pretty much every other boss theme in the game, and the design is just based on King Slime, so it's not even original. People are totally valid to hate Queen Slime because it is one of the worst boss fights in the game. There's no denying that Queen Slime is a pretty bad boss fight. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, do all that stuff. Please, I'm so desperate for 2,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.